Good day to everyone. I am Dr. Aida Lat, and I will be lecturing. This is CDB, right? Clinical and laboratory evaluation of systemic rheumatic diseases. As you all know, most of you have attended the lecture on pathology A on immune diseases. So this time we are going to focus more on the diseases, autoimmune diseases, but this time concentrating on the tests that can detect them. So this lecture was taken from Henry, yung Henry's laboratory methods. So medyo there are similarities and differences, of course, with discussions from Robbins. This time, medyo madami lang yung laboratory test. So the things that you have to remember in the diagnosis of systemic rheumatoid diseases is that it is very important to note for the autoantibodies. And these autoantibodies that are present are directed against intracellular and nuclear antigens. So sometimes, aside from the antibodies that may be detected through their levels, they can also be diagnosed through the presence of immunofluorescence tests, and which are actually immunoenzyme tests. Okay, they become the basis for screening and identification. So, ano ba yung rheumatic disease? So they are characterized by the presence of one or more autoantibodies that may be directed against the cell components of the surface, the cytoplasm, even the nuclear envelope, or the nucleus. So in the diagnosis, our first step always is to determine your ANA or antibody against nuclear antigen. So this is the hallmark of systemic rheumatic diseases. There are a lot of rheumatic diseases, and we will just be mentioning the common ones. The common ones. The others will be maybe in some other lectures, maybe on your third year on rheumatology. So systemic lupus erythematosus is what we call as the prototype of systemic rheumatic disease. Kahit nung inaral natin on pathology A, okay? This is, pag sinabi nating autoimmune disease, pumapasok agad sa isip natin would be your systemic lupus erythematosus. So this is non-organ specific. The condition is heralded by DNA and anti-DNA complexes to specifically differentiate it from the other types of hypersensitivity. Ito yung type 3, di ba? Yung immune complexes type. So it affects persons of all ages, of both sexes, but they are prevalent in women during childbearing years. Being an autoimmune disease, this presents with a hyperactive immune system, and there are numerous antibodies that are detected. Okay? What are the other features? So as mentioned, so it is non-organ specific. It has numerous antibodies. Ang sabi nila, there are actually an average of 3 differentiating or different circulating antibodies present simultaneously. I always want to emphasize that the diagnosis of autoimmune disease is after everything has been excluded, because autoimmune disease may present, may have presentations that are very similar to common diseases. Kaya diagnosis not only for SLE but for autoimmune disease are done when everything else has been excluded. Now, it's a good thing that there are criteria, pero common diseases may present with those criteria. But if they have been ruled out, then we'll probably be looking at an autoimmune disease For example, ito nga, SLE. So what are the etiologic factors that are involved here? Endocrine, metabolic, environmental, and genetics. And this book emphasizes that the strongest factor for the development of SLE is being a female. So the fact na babae ka pa lang, you are prone to develop, okay, SLE. There are different types of lupus erythematosus. Some would be those that are drug-induced. To mention the common ones that are related would be your hydralazine, procainamide, and isoniazid. Now, ang kakaiba dito sa drug-induced lupus is that there is the presence of histone autoantibodies, okay, which gives diagnosis of drug-induced lupus. You have seen this table, you have seen this one. This is the criteria for classification of SLE. Nung time namin, ang classification namin, no, we used to memorize mala rash, discoid rash, photosensitivity, so on and so forth. We group them according to the rheumatic and hematologic. No. This time, no, ito na yung mga modified, okay, classification. So it lists down the other types, the other presentation that may be present and may be considered in the diagnosis. So yung acute cutaneous lupus, they may be present as a malar rash, okay? It now includes your photosensitivity when the patient, when exposed to light, no, develops rashes, okay? Sometimes fixed or flat, okay? Chronic cutaneous lupus may be in the form of a discoid rash, no, parang coin-like. Alopecia, okay, is included here. Okay, there's a thinning of hair or hair fragility, oral or nasal ulcers, joint disease. This joint disease may involve, the joints, 2 or more peripheral joints, tenderness, swelling, or even the presence of effusion. And serositis, in the form of presence of pleuritis or pericarditis. Some present with pleural effusion, renal disorder, proteinuria, red cell cast, sometimes hematuria, neurologic disorder. Ito yung mahirap minsan na i-determine kasi patient may be presenting with simple confusion. No? Some are in form of seizures. Okay? Kaya minsan dinadala natin sa mga neurologists. Okay? Some with psychosis. Hematologic manifestations are usually in the form of hemolytic anemia. Now, leukopenia and lymphopenia may be present. Thrombocytopenia, less than 100,000 yung platelet count. Ang normal natin nasa 150 to 300 or 150 to 450. But in these patients, mas mababa, no? Immunologic criteria would be for the determination, of course, no? Yung basis natin lagi yung ANA. Those specifics for SLE would be the double-stranded DNA antibody with an abnormal titer, anti-Smith, and yung APAS. Okay? Complement may be determined, which will show low levels, as well as direct Coombs test. Ang direct Coombs test, we perform that and we can usually identify the presence or as an evidence of hemolytic anemia. So these are the common manifestations of SLE. And the organs that are usually affected would be the lungs, okay, the heart, of course, the kidney. And bakit nga ba sila nagpupunta sa dermatologist? Kasi kadalasan manifestations are, okay, mga dermatitis, so in the form of rash, yung tinatawag nilang butterfly rash, especially when exposed to the sun. Okay? In the lungs, they may present with tachypnea or cough, okay? Or difficulty of breathing, sometimes because of effusion, collection. You know that in the heart, okay? If you can remember, ano ba yung most common, okay? At pag sinabi natin ay SLE na agad, findings in the heart, no? Yung Liebman-Sachs, okay? Endocarditis, where you have vegetations in the leaflets. Lupus nephritis in the form of proteinuria and hematuria. So The autoantibodies that are present, okay, are numerous. Okay, you have the typical antibody to double-stranded DNA, to chromatin, to Smith, okay, yung ribonucleoprotein, okay. But those that are specific for SLE would be your anti-dsDNA, anti-Smith, C1q, anti-ribosomal nucleoproteins, okay, anti-proliferating cell nuclear antigen. So when found, okay, they are specific for SLE. Okay? Especially this double-stranded DNA, which are present in active diseases. Now, some autoimmune disease or rheumatoid diseases may present with antibodies against double-stranded. So mahirap ito, especially in Sjogren's syndrome, when they can have cross-contamination, okay, or cross-reaction. Now, these antibodies to native double-stranded DNA is exemplified, no? And is the one that can be seen causing the kidney damage. Okay? Alam naman natin, no, may mga SLE, no, ang manifestation nila. It's either you have the skin diseases or ang exit nila usually is kidney or in a form of infection. So double-stranded DNA antibodies can be detected, okay, in several methods. Nung time namin, meron kaming mga precipitation method, complement fixation, or passive hemagglutination, which are not done right now because most of them would be insensitive, difficult to perform, and maraming technical errors. Right now, what we're using would be your radioimmunoassay. We can use the presence of an organism known as Critidia, which I will later show you. The most common test would be your ELISA, okay, detecting your anti-dsDNA in active, untreated SLE patients. No? Madami tayong mga automated or automation or machines that can use ELISA to detect. Kasi mahirap, no? Kailangan lahat manually ginagawa, like yung old methods that I have mentioned. So antibodies to Smith and nuclear ribonucleoproteins are other markers that are specific for SLE. And the combination of both constitute the diagnosis. They are thought to be related and closely associated. They comprise small nuclear RNA. So they are also seen in 30% to 40% in active SLE patients. Now, another form of SLE is what we call as your chronic discoid lupus. Okay? Most of these patients will be going to your dermatologist because manifestations are sa skin. Okay? They present with coin-like lesions, makate, okay, with adherent scales, follicular plugging. You sometimes see them around the hair follicles. Okay? You see them namumula, erythema. And because of the scaling, no, which you tend to remove all the time, okay, yung mga area na yun, nagkakaroon ng scar, lagi mo tinutuklap, nagkakaroon ng atrophy. Another form would be your subacute cutaneous lupus erythematosus. So this time you have your papulosquamous lesions. Okay? Meron naman dito around the fatty area, no, parang nagre-retract in a form of a lupus panniculitis. Okay? They have association with single-stranded autoantibodies. As I have mentioned kanina, no, yung drug-induced lupus erythematosus would be diagnosed in the presence of histone autoantibodies. They are basic molecular proteins, okay, and found in eukaryotic cells. So yung combination ng histone DNA complex is called the nucleosome. Bakit na nagkakaroon nito? Most of these patients have low levels of acetyltransferase. This is an enzyme that can acetylate, no, drugs such as hydralazine, procainamide, to promote its detoxification. So if you have low levels of PS1, okay, you cannot detoxify, and you are more prone to develop ANA. So procainamide is thought to be the most common drug involved in this drug-induced autoimmune. But please do not limit yourselves with these drugs only. Other medications in combinations, in numerous amount, in chronic take may precipitate the development of drug-induced lupus. We're just mentioning the common ones. So what are the testing and diagnostic modalities? You can do immunofluorescence as what was employed before and until now. Double immunodiffusion, hindi na namin ito ginagawa, outer Loney. Immunoelectrophoresis, Western blot is another one. This is very sensitive. And of course, your ELISA method, and some microsphere assay. No? Still, ang common na ginagamit would be your ELISA, okay, and your immunoblotting methods. Immunofluorescence microscopy is also employed only if you have fluorescence microscopy machines. So ANA, if positive, okay, constitute the diagnosis of an autoimmune disease. Okay, in SLE, its presence is necessary. It is present in 98% of SLE patients, and a negative test would most probably rule out SLE diagnosis. But that would be, again, coupled with other criteria. So do sa criteria na present natin kanina, there should be at least 4 out of 11. Okay, so the recommendation is that ANA, immunofluorescence, detected at the dilution of 1:40 and 1:60 dilutions for the diagnosis. So this just shows you the common antigens and autoantibodies present in SLE. Makikita ninyo ang common pa rin dito would be your those against your double-stranded DNA, okay, to histones, to Smith, okay. Marami kasing nadidetect in SLE, okay. So yung iba, inuna na muna na yung mga specifics, okay, as mentioned before. So this shows you the different patterns, no, of immunofluorescence or indirect immunofluorescence. You can see those that are fibrous or speckled. Okay? So yung speckled form. Okay? So hindi masyadong ginagamit ito alone. Okay? It should be coupled with other testing procedures. Kasi when you look at this, sometimes it is subjective, no? Minsan tingin mo speckled, no? Tingin ng iba nucleolar. So errors may be seen in if this is the only basis, but they are good adjunct tests together with your criteria. ESR, as we all know, is non-specific. Okay, it detects the presence of an acute inflammation or acute disease, but is not specific. Urinalysis for the diagnosis of proteinuria or hematuria. As I've mentioned kanina, complement testing where you have low levels indicating the presence of the disease. Fluorescent anti-nuclear antibody testing, so I have mentioned before, and your outer Loney. Immunoblotting tests can be done. This is not specific for SLE. Other autoimmune disease may also employ the use of this one. Now, going to Sjogren's syndrome, another condition. If you can remember, this is a chronic inflammatory excrinopathy, excrinopathy involving the eyes, the mouth, and other mucous membrane. There are two types. Yung primary, Sjogren, where you can see the dry eyes and the dry mouth, keratoconjunctivitis, Zika, and xerostomia. And the secondary type, okay, this employs your together with your most common disease na kasama niya, rheumatoid arthritis and other autoimmune disease. So there are also antibodies that are specific for Sjogren's syndrome, no? That are found. No? Kaya lang minsan, hindi siya specific dahil nakikita din siya sa SLE. So the findings of manifestations, clinical history would be of great help. And the thing with Sjogren's syndrome is that they occur together with other diseases. Most common would be your rheumatoid arthritis. So this picture shows you the characteristics of Sjogren's syndrome, presenting with your dry mouth and tongue. Others would have your parotid enlargement, telangiectasia. Meron silang mga macules and papules. Okay, the typical immunofluorescence, which is fine speckled nuclear pattern. Next would be your scleroderma or systemic sclerosis. Remembering scleroderma and systemic sclerosis, ang meron nito, no? This is systemic connective tissue disorder. And what is prominent here would be your vascular lesion and fibrosis. Lagi yung tatandaan, systemic sclerosis or scleroderma, yung keyword nyo doon is fibrosis. So there are also antibodies, okay, and autoantigens present. Ano nga yung natatandaan natin pag naiisip natin ang systemic sclerosis, our CREST syndrome. No? CREST is characterized by your calcinosis, cutis, calcinosis, Raynaud phenomenon, esophageal dysmotility, sclerodactyly, and telangiectasia. Lagi niyong tatandaan. Okay, scleroderma, CREST. Okay. So among those findings, Raynaud phenomenon would be the most common symptom. Raynaud phenomenon would be the most common symptom. Rheumatoid arthritis, this is another autoimmune disorder, and it would be characterized by chronic, symmetrical, and erosive arthritis involving the peripheral joints. Okay. Ang dinidetect sa rheumatoid arthritis would be your RF, other than your ANA. Rheumatoid factor determination is important. Okay, so problem din dito sa rheumatoid arthritis, they can present with several autoantibodies that are also present in other autoimmune disease. Okay. But the most common would be your rheumatoid factors. Also included there would be your anti-citrullineated protein antibodies, okay, and anti-RA, rheumatoid arthritis 33. Yun na nga, rheumatoid factor is not specific for rheumatoid arthritis. They can be present, no, even in chronic infection, yung mga other forms of arthritis, okay? And other, of course, systemic inflammatory conditions. So you can see here, pointing and showing to you would be your nodules, the nodules that are present, rheumatoid nodules, characteristic, no, hand and finger, joint involvement. It must be differentiated with ankylosing spondylitis, which is a form of chronic inflammation of the spine and sacroiliac joint. Kasi nako-confuse minsan. Determining it at a different level, we know that it is associated with inheritance of your HLA B27. It has a relationship with the HLA inheritance. So this is the normal anatomy, and to compare it with ankylosing spondylitis with the loss of normal curvature. And just to show you an example and a comparison of those that are involved, no, sa rheumatoid arthritis and ankylosing spondylitis, the ones seen in brown, those are the actual joints. The blue one are the rheumatoid arthritis, no? Yun namang peripheral joints. But of course, again, they may overlap. Okay? Hindi naman yan limited lang. So, this just shows you, tells you the common areas where they may be present. No? Pero wag kayong masu-surprise if some of the peripheral joints would peripheral joints would also be involved in your ankylosing spondylitis and vice versa with rheumatoid arthritis. So still showing you the difference, the brown and the blue. Okay, the blue being your rheumatoid arthritis, and the brown your ankylosing spondylitis. So these are the manifestations. Okay. So there are other organ-specific autoimmune diseases and their characteristic autoantibodies, like in Goodpasture syndrome, you have antibody in the glomerular basement membrane, in pernicious anemia against intrinsic factors and parietal cells of the stomach. In multiple sclerosis, you have an anti-myelin, okay, in the nervous system, anti-islet cells in IDDM, okay, those that are found in the pancreas, anti-thyroid globulin in the thyroid in Graves' disease, Hashimoto thyroiditis, you may see your long-acting thyroid stimulating cells. Of course, the ANCA in Wegener, and anti-acetylcholine receptor, famous for the antibodies in myasthenia gravis. So just to mention a few. So I'm showing you here the typical homogeneous pattern of nuclear staining ng ANA. So you can see that it's homogeneous, no? Para-pareho, same fluorescing or light emitting, no? Ang emission niya ng fluorescence, pare-parehas sa cells. So this is another positive ANA. So ang ginamit naman dito, human cell line as HEP2. Okay. So this is the rim pattern, characteristic daw ito of SLE. Okay. You can see that the one that flourishes would be the rim of the cell. And this is the Cryptidia organism. Okay, ito yung sinasabi ko. The purpose of its existence is to be a substrate for your dsDNA test. Okay, so they flourish, no? Nagla-light up sila. And a positive double-stranded DNA test strongly suggests the diagnosis of SLE. So some should show a speckled pattern. Okay, so seen in anti-RNP, anti-Smith, and yung single-stranded A and single-stranded B, but they are not specific for SLE. They may be found in Sjögren as well. Okay. So nag-overlap talaga. Kung ang basis would only be your immunofluorescence, then mahirap to diagnose one autoimmune disease. So they should be coupled with other tests. So this is also the showing you your speckled pattern, okay, yung antibody against your ribonucleoprotein or RNP. Mentioned to kanina, you have antibodies against the proliferating cell nuclear antigen. So it also presents with speckled pattern. Nucleolar pattern reflects antibody to nucleolar RNA seen in scleroderma, Sjögren, SLE, and even in Raynaud phenomenon. So this one showing you the nucleolar pattern. See, para din siyang speckled, no? Kung sa titingin bigla, akala mo speckled. So this is the nuclear pattern seen in scleroderma. And just to show you another nucleolar pattern, no? Reminiscent daw yung Hubble space when you look, no, into the sky using your telescope. So this is a very short lecture. Most of them you have studied already in pathology A. So this just emphasizes some of the tests that are or that can be done, okay, for the diagnosis of autoimmune disease or your rheumatoid diseases. Just to remind everyone, no, ang basis ng testing natin dito laging autoantibodies, determination of autoantibodies. Okay, so I hope you learned something. You remembered something from this lecture. Again, good day, stay safe, and hope to see you around very soon. Thank you.